All right, hello and welcome to today's stream and today's episode of the BC coding stream. I felt like I need to look at the new stuff we get in AL, in the AL language for the next version, version 25, or what is it? 2024 wave 2, or how you want to call it. AL language runtime version 14, all different versions, everything coming in October this year, so it's not long until we get there, and we might already need to prepare our next major releases, our next major versions. So it's about time to get started on the new language features, and I thought, why not stream it, tell you what I think about those, play a little bit around with those new features, and yeah, see what they can do. If you haven't seen it already, I saw it yesterday. The Dynamics Corner episode 329 with AJ and Waldo. Let's see. There's AJ, there's Waldo. And they were talking about keeping up with the new changes that are coming frequently in AL. And yeah, the main thing I took away from this episode was you at least need to be aware of what's coming. And yeah, it's easier if you keep up with the changes frequently and not yeah, rust in too long. So in that matter, again, link is in the description. Check it out if you haven't done so already. It's really good content. And yeah, also in the description, the link for the development features that are coming. I've picked out some of them I want to cover today. I did not have the time to look into those until now, so taking the time now. First thing I want to look into is what's called the ternary operator. It's an inline if, basically. So yeah, what I've done here, I've spin up an Alpaca container version 25 and created a new project for me to play with. And the first thing you already can see here is the hello world example, and we can tweak this already to use that inline if. And the very first basic thing is would be something like this. Yeah, it's not app not published. Let's do something like the opposite, like goodbye world, something like this. And now let me run this and explain it afterwards. So we're still getting the hello world. Now if I change the condition to false, I would expect to see the goodbye world. And there are a few things to notice about the syntax here. So first part, this part before the question mark, is a condition. Then it's the if the condition is true part, then a colon, and then the false part. But the interesting thing is this is like one closed statement, and it returns whatever, like you can use the return value from this. So it kind of acts like a function, and I want to play around with what we can do with this. Because as you can see, I can return text and place it into the input parameter for a message. So I could do interesting things about with this. Let's see actually. So I will do a confirm. Good something like this. Confirm yes or no. I think we need a default. Oh no, there is no need for default. All right. Just so we can play around with this and use this as the condition, so we can control this dynamically. Okay, just need to keep an eye on the chat. So if you have any questions or anything during the live stream, put it into the chat after the live stream. Leave a comment, and I will try to answer those. All right. So I can do stuff like this. Can I return this? Okay, it cannot convert from integers, so let's fix that. That seems to compile. Let's see if we can run it. Okay, that was quick. 7 minutes in and we already broke the system. All right. Let's debug this. Let's find out what's going on. Not debuggable. Interesting. That's not the issue. That's not the error we're seeing. Very interesting. Let's find out if we can. Let's see if we can do something like this and find out what's going on here. I thought if I do this, let's see. Let's raise the issue again. Oh, now it works? What? Well. Okay. Okay, that works. I don't know what that issue was about. Oh, we got, but now it works. So let's continue for now. What if we do something like rec? Cannot implicitly convert type integer to type to record customer. Why does it want to convert? This works. Okay, so the ternary statement needs to return the same value in both instances. This is weird. Why is it doing that? Okay, the log is not really helping here. I thought it would put out, like, give us the event log, but it doesn't. So something's broken. And now it does work. Okay, so the rec on open page does not have anything yet, so we get an empty record formatted. So that works. That's interesting. So the return type of that statement is determined by whatever we like the, but it says that we can not convert type record to type integer. Okay, it wants to convert the else type into the if type. What if, can I do something like this? No, okay, the else is always expected. And we do not have something like none. Okay, it only works if we really do if and else. It doesn't do if we do not do else. So what if we do this and then this? Still integer record. Record to integer. Okay, it evaluates. It tries to evaluate from inside out. And then, like always, from inside out, words from else to if, and then from this else, this if. So if I do here, then this, it will still try to evaluate the record to integer. So that's interesting. Now, next question. What if we throw in the variants? That works. Very interesting. So it can convert variant to integer. Let's run this. I don't expect this to work, but let's try. Yes. 1. No. Yep. Okay. So that delays the error just to a runtime issue, a runtime error. Because it still tries to convert this. Interesting. So what if I put a format around this? Oh, then complains it can't. Yeah, interesting. That works. And that works. Okay. So it's a bit picky about the formats. Well, it's... I shouldn't call it picky, it's consistent. Let's put it that way. So it's probably, like the use case is to inline decide between two different values of the same type. And that aligns with practice. So if I do like log local procedure log message number, and the number is integer, and I do this, and then do like this, this compiles. Okay, that's not consistent. Now if it can implicitly convert a number to text, so that's possible. I would expect this to fail. This is type char. This is not type text. And char to number is probably possible. Although that... Okay. Wait a second. Let's test this because this is interesting. And if this does what I expect it to do, then this will I will explain in a second. Okay, so yes, gives us 2, no 3. Now if I put this into okay, let's try. $50. And that's because this is a char now, and a char can be converted to integer implicitly. Okay, that's a bad example, I think. Let's do record customer. That way we are sure that the conversion doesn't work. Okay. Now it complains that we cannot convert the integer to record customer. Now it complains that the record customer cannot be converted to integer. And this still complains now about the entire expression that it cannot convert integer to customer. So this is compile time aware of the return value that this provides. That's actually cool. Okay, so you shouldn't use variant probably because that will lead to runtime issues because it doesn't know at compile time anymore what type you're using. So if you avoid from using variants here, it should compile and validate the return value from this at compile time. This actually works. So okay, so this is also interesting. The syntax does not align, allow us to do, should I call it? If I leave the brackets away without parentheses, then this becomes the outer expression and this becomes the inner expression. But if I want to do a condition for the conditional statement from the first one, like this, I can still do this, but I need to add the brackets. Although I don't think it makes a lot of sense, because as this returns a boolean anyways, and I need a boolean to determine this can be simplified. So I don't really need to do this. There is no actual use case I can imagine, at least, to do this. Now what happens if I do something like this? Colon expected. So I cannot do multiple lines in one of those. This has to be single line. And this doesn't work either. So, okay. But we can use this to decide between two values inline based on a condition for assignment purposes, to pass this down to functions and stuff like this. If you have any other use cases, come across any other ideas or whatever, how to use this that I did not unveil yet, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Would be very interesting, but I think this really exhausts the possibility we have with this. So let's go ahead and check out the second thing. And that will be a quick thing, because I covered this pretty much in one of my last streams when I covered the error info type and did a proposal to Microsoft how to wrap this properly to make it more usable. But what this basically is doing, this keyword, it's a new keyword, and it gives us the possibility to reference the current instance of our object. And for example, this customer. So I can reference this through this, the global objects. I can also reference any procedures I have defined in the global scope. They don't need to have, they don't have to be global. They just need to be defined in the global scope. So it doesn't matter if oh, that's interesting. Procedure. It doesn't matter if they are local, if they are internal, if they are global, or I think protected is the last one. So it's just about the global scope with this keyword. And I'm actually not sure if current page allows us to do the same thing. No, it doesn't. So it's somewhat similar to the current page, current report thing, but it's not the same. Let's see. With the current page, we can access controls. With this, we cannot access controls. So there is a difference, and I think the difference comes down to what this is intended to be used for, which is code units. And that's the cool thing. Let me just quickly define a code unit. And if I move this down here, I don't need this anymore. Now I can do the same thing on code units. So we didn't have any way before to reference the current object from the code unit instance, like the current instance of that code unit. And what this means is, just to really go through this quickly, I can do like something like this. And pass in my current instance. Before this keyword, we had to define the code unit as a global and then reference this. It's the same thing for bind subscription. This takes the code unit we want to bind, and there was no way to pass in the current instance, and we always had to work with two instances. And now we can pass this in. And I think it was Natalie on Twitter. She found out. I don't remember if it was a piece of documentation or like a pull request or something. But Microsoft mentioned officially that they are going to use it to reference all global variables and procedures in the global scope to access this. And I think it's going to be good that way. That way you can always immediately see, oh, this is global, this is global in the current object. We this function is a global, like from the current object, and we're not doing any magic here or anything. Or same goes for variables. If you're prefixing the global variables with this, you always know, like, see at one glance, this is a global variable. So I think for me personally, I'm going to align my code with Microsoft's suggestion to always use it. And I think there is a warning. There is this. Let's see. It's a hidden thing. I'm not sure if this is going to be changed to info warning, but I personally think I'm going to put it as an error actually in my rule set. That way I won't be able to compile if I forget to put this as soon as I hit 25 with my apps. And then it behaves the same way like this setting does. No implicit width. I'm not able to use, if this feature is activated, I'm not able to use on pages any fields from the record without rec. So if I do like name, it doesn't exist in the current context. I need to put rec in front, and then I can access the name from the customer. So that way it should behave the same way. I get an error at compile time whenever I forget to put this. So yeah, this is this. Now let's look at the last one, and this was the one I'm really looking forward to look into. And it's two things actually. We get a comparison is for use with interfaces, and then we can do like interface extents. So let's copy this image. Of course, why else would, I mean, come on, let me just put in code, then I can copy. Okay. So I like to do, and for simplicity, I will just do it in one app, in one file, so we can just look at everything at one glance, because it's going to be a few objects. T interface. So this will be vehicle. I like the vehicle example the most, I think. So a vehicle can move, and then we have a car that can drive, and we have perfect, like really, Copilot is helping. Boat is also vehicle, but it can sail, but it cannot drive. A car can drive, but it cannot sail. So, and there are like multiple other ideas we could add here. But, yeah. And now we can do, let's look at the example again. We can extend something. So if I were to add interface, what do have cars and boats in common other than moving? They might have a capacity. Capacity. In what matter, I don't care, but some kind of like people, or we could extend vehicle. Yes, that's right. Extend the base interface, or we can do for now we can do car and boat, and they have a load. Okay, let's call it get load. So that returns the maximum capacity for a car and a boat. Now if code unit, if I implement this, let's see. implements car. Why doesn't that work? Oh, curly brackets, of course. Okay, so even the quick fix already knows that we need to do drive and we need to do move, because car depends, like a car extends vehicle, which does only the move stuff. So this is message car drives, and if a car moves, it drives. So this would be drive. Now same goes for boat. And let's also implement capacity. Something like this. And now car capacity. Oh, wait. Let's call that iCar. iCapacity. So now what I can do is I can of course I can do like iCapacity is capacity. Sorry for the bell. And iCar is car. But oh gosh. But since, let's see, since capacity also implements everything a car needs to do, let's see, message %1 by capacity is iCar. Moment. How did they do this here? iBar. Okay, I think I need to rename those because we're getting complications here. Interface. Interface. The rename didn't work. Nice. Interface. And interface. Okay, and then we have the boat interface. I know this is really not aligning with how you should name those, but I just want to make it super clear what we're using here. So, and I think this is the way. Okay, so I'm not even referencing a variable. I'm just using the type because it's it is aware what types we have available being interfaces. So let's give this a shot. So this is, yes, okay. So I capacity is a car. That means if we have a local procedure called drive car, and I mean it could be procedure anyway, anywhere, and we take an interface of type car and do a message, no, just a drive. Now, drive car, I capacity. This seems to work. It does. What I was expecting was that we get a type error and we actually need to do this. Because I can cast. It can do implicit conversions. We don't even need to explicitly convert it. That's interesting. Let's look again here. I'm not sure for what the as operator is actually necessary, because if we can do implicit conversions, maybe it's just to make it more readable, to really state out that we are passing in the car interface here, because capacity also implements the car stuff. Right. Okay, so that works. I'm not exactly sure what the real world scenarios would look like for those kind of for the need to split interfaces like this. And also, like, if we're imagining the base app has an interface and we want to extend that interface for something, I don't really know what the scenario would be, because the base app doesn't know about our extending it, and if it seems to me like we're just reusing something from the base app and using it for our intentions, instead of just creating our own stuff from scratch, our own interface from scratch, and using that. And maybe there is something I'm missing. I mean, let's look at the is one more. I have another idea. Ifu also is bar. So let's see if we are passing in I capacity into the RE car. If, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. Let's see if that works, because if that works, that would be good. That seems to be a bug in the compiler. C# compilation failed for the application object page extension. Fading C# name, you can associate it. AL assemblies, apps. F interface handle could be found. Oh, handle does not contain a definition for invoke interface method asynchronously, and no accessible extension method accepting the first argument type. So let's see. Nice that I have this on video, so I don't need to create a construct this, hopefully, for Microsoft. So let's do this. Do this. And then that seems to work. Drive, get load. Okay, so that's interesting. So one more try if I do the casting before. It still does it. Okay. So I don't know how this is done, but apparently the conversion does not actually convert it, just makes it compatible. I don't know. But the information is not lost. So it stays in capacity interface, although I cast it as a car interface down below. And the iCar, although the drive car function might not be aware of the additional procedures in here. So what I can do now, that is now the fun begins. And you always need to you always need to remember this might be a base app like car, although we have vehicle and car, but the car interface stuff until here, that might be base app, like something you depend on. Now you come across, take the car interface, put on the capacity on top of that car interface, and you want to do stuff with this. Now, imagine this on after drive car. And we have the iCar interface in here. Like this. Now you can do your, let me just put in a new code unit in between here. And I really hope I'm not, no, this is wrong. I hope you all can still follow what I'm thinking. No, this is not, this is a page. We are doing, never did a page, like an event publish on a page extension, I'm just realizing. Customer list. On after drive car, that works, okay. Get print load on after get after drive car. Now imagine we're now back in our own app, and we. Okay, I'm explaining this one more time just to be sure what I just did here. Now imagine this is base app, the car interface. I'm gonna remove all the capacity stuff here. I cannot remove all the capacity stuff. Okay, so imagine the drive car stuff and the car interface is base app. You extend the car interface with your capacity interface, implement everything you need. You can pass in your capacity interface through the base app's code that's just caring about the car interface. And if you need to react, if there are events in there which give you back the interface, you can then retrieve the car interface back, and it will preserve the state, the fact that it is actually a capacity interface. And you can then call your own functions because you can cast it back into the capacity interface and then call your stuff on there. So this is really interesting stuff. Okay, I was a little skeptic about whether this is useful or not. Okay. Okay. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe we can do it that way. Let's find out. The expression cannot be the target interface. Why not? Oh, I deleted too much. Okay. Now we have drive and get load. Okay, so that's actually cool. Okay, so the casting has a reason, has a use case. And the check as well. So this is how we would use this, and then it actually makes sense that we can extend interfaces because yeah, that works. This is the chat is asking what language. This is this language, AL language extension for Business Central. Check out Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Do we get the full name? There we go. And this is the proprietary language for this, for extending Business Central, which is an ERP system. So, yeah. And we're getting lots of cool stuff, like stuff that other languages had for centuries, and we are getting it now. So, fun times. I'm thinking if there is something more we can fiddle around with this. Something. I'm always thinking about whether we can use that to do callbacks. Like callbacks like in JavaScript. But if we could, then this would probably be very specific scenarios where we would hijack an interface because it's moving through the code, and then we can exit it later on, and then I'm not sure if that makes lots and lots of sense. Okay, let's see if there is something else. I don't think so. Let's have a look in this list. Maybe there is something I did not open and prepare. And the other things, I think they are mostly not available yet, or are not, like, nothing I can show from the top of my mind right now. So yeah, that's probably it. Okay, so we have, just to summarize once more, I think a few of you joined later. I started with the Ternary operator. I would just call it no, they also call it operator. So to do inline ifs, and the interesting thing is what I did not read or know before, that you need to be aware of the type you're using. So that's at compile time, verify that you are returning with true and false the same type, and you cannot omit the false part. You always need to have true and false, and that's validated. You can use the variant type, but then you get runtime errors for the same issues, so I would not recommend that. And yeah, you can use it anywhere as a placeholder for a variable, I guess. Whenever you need to decide between the two values, you can use it. It works with record types. I did test that. Yeah, and then we looked at this example with the interfaces and the casting and comparison and extending of interfaces. So that seems to be it for version 25 in terms of language improvements or language changes. So let me know if I missed anything, if I should explain anything in more detail. Put in some comments, let me know. And otherwise, if you have done so already, if you subscribe to my channel, you get notified if I start a new stream. I always do whenever I have something I can share or something I need to look at, anything open source. I try to stream everything and explain my way along through it. So yeah, if you're interested, come around for the next stream. All right, have a good day, and see you next time.